One of the things that we think is all important here on earth is meeting our soulmate or twin flame. It is all encompassing, especially with the females, okay? Quite honestly, I never hear of a man coming to me for a reading saying, could you tell me about my twin flame or my soulmate? It never happens. So I find that kind of funny that it's mainly women that are so obsessed with this, okay? All right, we're going to be talking about the truth about twin flames, soulmates, and kindred spirits, and what are they and what are the differences between each of them, okay? So many of us have this mindset of the all importance of meeting my soulmate or my twin flame. This has to happen in my lifetime. Is it going to happen in my lifetime? And I am going to step forward and share my experience with each of you over hundreds of readings, out of thousands of readings that I've given. And I'm going to be talking about the experiences that I've had in regards to twin flames, soulmates, and kindred spirits. I didn't even know what a kindred spirit was in the beginning. The angels had to explain that to me. And I had the same kind of mindset that everyone else had, which was, it would be so great to have a soulmate or a twin flame. And I'm not, poo-pooing that for everybody else. I'm just going to give you a new narrative to think about based upon the hundreds of readings that I've had where individuals are talking about soulmates, twin flames, and of course, then we have kindred spirits. A really cool read also is, Journey of Souls by Michael Newton, and that will kind of delve in a little bit more about the other side if you want to have any more reading material. And then he's written subsequent books after that as well, so that's not the only one. But for me, I just went into channeling for people, giving readings based upon, just what I knew. So as I've gone along, seeing Starseed family members with us, different ET origins that I've never seen before, and, different colors I've never seen before, the facial description and, details of, our guardian angels. It's all been new to me, including the broader perspective in regards to what we're talking about today. So, one of the things that we think is all important here on earth is meeting our soulmate or twin flame. It is all encompassing, especially with the females, okay? Quite honestly, I never hear of a man coming to me for a reading saying, could you tell me about my twin flame or my soulmate? It never happens. So I find that kind of funny that it's mainly women that are so obsessed with this, okay? Now I'm coming from a viewpoint where I'm not only talking from the vantage point of giving readings where I'm relaying information pertaining to twin flames and soulmates and kindred spirits, but I'm also coming from the vantage point of having an actual experience in my lifetime with a soulmate and what that felt like and how is it different. Okay, you're the first one, Henson. You're the first male. Awesome. So I'm coming from the vantage point of having a soulmate relationship for a few years and then parting ways with that soulmate partnership. And how do you know what a soulmate partnership or a twin flame partnership even feels like? Like, hey, you, hey, how's it going? Like, how do you know? How do you know, right? And is it all important to meet a soulmate or a twin flame in your lifetime? Is it the only thing that matters above anything and everything else? That's the question, isn't it? So, a twin flame is your soul's energy that is placed into another vessel, another body, and then you come together. Is it always going to be romantically involved? No. It's not. It could be a family member. It could be a friend. It doesn't always mean romantically, although we will see a lot of individuals talking about it being romantic. Now, same goes for soulmate. Same thing. It could be romantic, or it can be a loved one in your family, or it can be a friend. It doesn't necessarily mean romance is in the air. Okay, so with the soulmate, this is a soul that is in your soul group on the other side. Okay, so sometimes one of the souls from your soul group will decide to be your spirit guide and watch over you while you incarnate on Earth. Sometimes they're choosing to be over there and watch over you. Sometimes they're just choosing to be in the soul group and not really watching over you. Somebody else has chosen that duty. And sometimes they're choosing to be on Earth with you in the same lifetime. Does it mean it's always romantic? No, it does not. No. Okay. So a kindred spirit is a soul from another soul group. So you're in your soul group and they're in their soul group, and you guys decide, okay, this is what we're going to do before we incarnate on Earth, and we're gonna match up with each other. It might be we're going to get married to each other, we're going to have children with each other, or it could be I'm going to help you out through a difficult stage in your life, and I'm going to be there with you and for you for a few years, or I'm going to be your best friend and I'm going to hang out with you and we're going to keep in touch throughout the whole lifetime. But this idea that we have to have a twin flame or a soulmate partnership to have that everlasting loving union, and preferably married or just with each other for the rest of our lives, it's very narrow. I can't say that I see hundreds of people come to me that are in a romantic relationship with a soulmate or a twin flame. I don't see it. I might see it for 7 years, 8 years, maybe a 10-year, maybe 1 year. It's what is needed and what is best in each of their lifetimes in the here and now. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be children and marriage. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be that way. Okay. Now, you know, when I had the soulmate relationship in my past, I was a bit older than the other person. And when we dated, it was for 2 years. So we were in quite different stages of life. He was heading off to do this, and I was in this direction, developing ulcerative colitis, and ultimately had to have surgery. So I remember not wanting to part ways with him by all means. The draw towards him and the recognition of his energy, even though I didn't remember how I knew him. I knew him. I knew there was a strong pull towards him. It took years for me to process and really digest that we weren't going to be together anymore. Even when I was going through the harder days with my own health. So I remember saying to myself, oh, you know, I knew I had to be the one to initiate to break up because I knew he didn't want to break up. And I knew I deep down didn't want to break up either. However, I didn't have the energy to keep going on a path with someone that was in a different stage of life, on a different trajectory, and I was having health issues. I didn't have the energy for this relationship, okay? And I remember it was the beginning stages of hearing my guardian angels. And they were gently just letting me know that I was going to have to make this decision, and what was best was parting ways, and to let him fly forth in his own life and make his own move and go his own path in the world. And I knew this deep down. It wasn't like I heard it and I went, okay, and I just listened and did it. I knew that it wasn't going to be something that was going to be long-term at that time. So here we are. I'm with a soulmate partnership, and yet I'm being guided to part ways with him. Interesting, isn't it? So that day came, and we did, and there was no other way to go about it. He went off to university, met other people, did his own thing, and I went off to the hospital and had a visit there and a stay there, and then inevitably more visits and more surgeries, and we just went on our own way. So ultimately, at the end of the day, it's not always meant to last forever. I'm going to tune in with my guardian angel and see if she wants to add anything to this topic at hand. Okay, she's saying that many of us, before we incarnate here on Earth, we decide who we want to incarnate with. Another way you can look at it is cycling in. So who are we going to have with us when we cycle in on Earth? Okay. And what is it best for me to learn while I'm cycling on Earth? And who do I want to learn it with? Who is best to step forward with me and also wants expansion and growth? It's really about learning, expansion, and growth. And sometimes it is known well beforehand that each soul is only meant to be with each other for a portion of the cycle or the incarnation. Okay? Okay. So that's interesting, isn't it? And that is really ultimately what I'm trying to say. But you know, in media, it's sold to us from a young age that, you know, the Cinderella story, and we must be together forever, and we must ride off on our horses into the sunset. And it doesn't always necessarily mean that that is what is best. So what I learned when I parted ways from that soulmate, and it took a number of years to learn this, okay? But what I really learned from that, because that one hurt, hurt a little bit more than all the other men that I had dated. But what I learned after that was, okay, I can't keep putting my eggs in other people's baskets. I can't keep putting my love and my affection elsewhere. What's really important for me to learn right now is to be alone and to learn self-love and how important that was, because that was a missing piece at that time. And I remember developing that over the years and just really feeling much more whole, happier. My power wasn't being taken and put with someone else, or my energy wasn't given to someone else. And what I've learned is that if somebody else comes into my life, they're going to be an addition to the love that I already have for myself. They're not going to be the end all to be all, and I must have them in my life to love me. I already love me. I don't need to have someone in my life to fulfill that love that I need to have in my life. So that was a really good teaching moment for me, like big time. I'm just going to look up everyone's comments from my laptop. Okay. Now, does that mean when you part ways that potentially you might come back around and date that soulmate or that twin flame later on in life? Possibly, if that's what's best for growth and development and learning and expansion. Possibly. It also depends on, as you all know, when you're in a relationship and each of you are changing and evolving, you're either going to be doing that more or less together, might be a little bit different, but still together, moving in the same trajectory, or you're vastly going to change and evolve and grow, and it's not going to be in the same direction. So depending on what is best, it's not always best to stick it out with one another, but yet you'll see that a lot of couples will stick it out for multiple different reasons in life. Children, money, what we've built together, we can't let that go. And so what would you say about individuals that are together and there's that strong pull because of the energy? The strong pull is definitely there when you have a twin flame or a soulmate, but does it necessarily always mean that you need to stick it out in a relationship with someone? She says that only individually each of us can answer that. However, what she's recommending is that we go within and feel intuitively if this is best for me to continue this relationship years down the road. Will there be fulfillment, excitement, happiness, joy, not only for yourself, but potentially also for the other loved ones living in the same home, in the same residence? So sometimes it's not even about me or you, but it's about the whole family unit or whomever is living under the same roof. Mm-hmm. She wants to talk about in the spirit world. I know where we're going with this because I've heard this before. Souls will come together for in union. There's not like marriage per se, unless they want to pretend and put that on for each other. They can do that if they want to. But ultimately, when it's time to, or if it's time to, or if it's best to part ways, there isn't the sorrow and the hardship, the guilt, the jealousy, and all that stuff that goes into it here on earth. It's a much easier process. And each soul knows that they are coming together in union with one another to better one another, to help one another, to grow with one another, to have special experiences with one another. But should that experience or union come to an end, and again, even in the spirit world, each soul will know what is best for them moving forward. So she's talking about some souls will feel like it's best to part ways, and sometimes it'll be one, and sometimes it'll be both, or the pair. She's also talking about some souls are with each other in relationships that are more than just two. That's the first time I've heard this. Of course, we're on this topic, so there might be 3 souls or 4 souls, or I don't know. But there's not that, there's no belief systems or restraints as there are on Earth, she says. That's fascinating, isn't it? It's what is best, what feels right. And there's growth and experience and learning that is taking place, okay? Here on Earth, we're very regimented in a lot of ways as to what is appropriate and what is not, rather than, so that's more up in the head, rather than feeling what feels right and then stepping forth and initiating. So some of our unions here on Earth, they can look quite different. And, and she's talking about adult relationships between individuals can look quite different. So, some can be a different sex, some can be the same sex, some can be the same ethnicity, some can be a different ethnicity, some can have a little bit of an age gap, some can have a bigger age gap. We're talking about adults here. And the judgment that is placed upon these individuals can be harsh. It can be mildly accepting, but then talking behind their back. Okay. But here in the spirit world, there's none of those types of belief systems or restraints going on. It's much more inviting and accepting and allowing. Okay. All right. So, and that's what I've noticed when I converse with my team. They don't care if I'm like 5 years older than somebody else, or if I'm dating someone with a different ethnicity than myself. Nobody cares. I mean, they're just happy for us. So anytime you place a judgment like that, you're the only one doing it here on Earth. No one on the other side does that. Okay. All right. Yeah, Laura, I really agree. You feel the same way. It's a wonderful feeling to love yourself, like really love yourself. And you don't realize maybe just how much that's needed until you part ways with a partner that you have a strong pull towards. And there's only one direction to go for me, because here I was sick and having surgeries. So I didn't have the energy to bounce into another relationship like I had done in the past. I jokingly called myself the rebounder. I'm the rebounder. So at that point, there was only one direction I could focus, and that was wholeheartedly on myself. There was no other way. There's no other path. I was literally pigeonholed into singling myself out and sorting myself out. And that really actually was a great benefit. So some of the hardest things that have ever happened to you in your life can end up ultimately being the best things that have ever happened to you in your life. Absolutely the best. But in the moment, ooh. So when did my angel open up and pass through my body and make her presence known? My dog had died. There went a chunk of the heart. broke up with the soulmate partnership, and I had been sick for a full year. And I knew that I needed to change my diet and try to do, I wasn't ready for surgery yet. So when you've lost everything and you need that backup, that's when it came in. And that really helped with self-love too, hugely, moving me in that direction that everything was going to be okay. Does anybody have any questions about twin flames, soulmates, or kindred spirits? I would say in my lifetime, I've met one soulmate, and I've definitely met, I would say, one or two kindred spirits for sure. Absolutely. And some of the individuals that I've dated have had significantly like different starseed origins than myself, and just really unique and different than me. And I have felt like they are serving a purpose in my life for a time, but they're not necessarily going to be in my life for a lengthy period of time. My intuition, my gut feeling tells me that anyone I'm going to have a longer, long-term committed relationship with is it's got to be purposeful. There's got to be meaning to it. It's not just going to be there just to go and have fun and hang out. There has to be more of a reason and a purpose for it. And also I feel like, and I'm going to ask my guardian angel if this is correct, but I feel like they likely have had several cycles or incarnations as a Pleiadian in other incarnations off Earth. And that's what I feel like is going to be a relationship that I'll have for a lengthy period of time. And she's saying correct. Yeah, accurate. So that's cool, isn't it? So kindred spirits are souls that you couple up with or engage with. So it doesn't necessarily mean romantic. It could be in your family member or it could be a friend. So that would be a soul that is in another soul group rather than in your soul group. So you converse with each other from separate soul groups and then incarnate together with a certain purpose or mission in hand. Will Joanne meet her soulmate or twin flame anytime soon? So feel it, Joanne. You'll know if it's soon because the energy will ramp up. You'll feel your heart chakra open, probably your stomach open. You might feel butterflies. So what do you feel in your body? Let me know in the comments. Yep. You know what? I had no idea about kindred spirits either. Not a clue. And in fact, I didn't know much about twin flames either. So I had the angels break it all down for me and explain it to me because I kept having individuals come to me for readings and talking about this and wanting to know this. So I was like, well, we better get some answers here so that I know what is happening. So anytime soon, soulmate or twin flame. Okay, so I get a yes on this, okay, but I am feeling the energy, and if it's like right up in my face with a lot, and I do feel the excitement of it actually, but it's not strong right in my face. It's like further down the line. So I'm not feeling like it's going to be right around the corner. Anything else? They're talking about divine timing. So I'm not seeing in the next year. I'm not seeing in the next 2 years. 3 years, 4 years. I see you kind of like, when is this going to happen? It's like Now they want to remind us, Joanne, I can hear your team saying they want to remind us that we can change things too. Okay, so they can give you a timeline on this, but also our free will and our free will choosing to go outside the house, to go out on dates, to go meet people. But at the same time, if we feel that it's flat and stagnant, we don't feel like doing that, it's okay to not go out and date or look. But I'm not getting nothing until like the 5-year mark. Okay. But I'm also getting divine timing. So there's something that is going to make that the right time for some reason. Yes, absolutely. A twin flame can absolutely be a child. No question. No question at all. Yeah. Okay. That's the feeling I get too, Joanne, that you're not really leaving the house. So I think that's why they said that. It's kind of like, well, I want this, but then I just hang out in my house and I don't do anything to go and meet new people or get in front of anyone that could potentially be a twin flame or a soulmate. I mean, they're in the business of miracle making, but we kind of have to participate too, as they just said. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Yeah, and you know, it can just be like a really close friend for the rest of your life. Or it can be, you know, a family member or a child. It doesn't have to be romantic. We have this so pigeonholed in our society that this has to be romantic or this has to be a relationship when it doesn't. It just doesn't. Okay. And you've seen that too with, you know, online you'll see like a mother with their child. I mean, here's an example right here. If you guys haven't watched the Brooke Shields documentary that's out recently, her mother was just downright infatuated with her and thought she was the best thing ever and would tell her all the time how amazing she was. And, you know, we could say, okay, well, maybe there's a mental instability there. However, when I was looking at that, I was like, man, like the way that they look at each other and talk with each other and there for each other and support each other. But you can see the connection. It's just undeniable. Online dating, worst nightmare. You know, I just hang back and I watch my friends do the online dating and I just let them go ahead and I watch their experience. But definitely I would say also, you know, if you have other hobbies that you're doing, if you're online, maybe you go and hang out with some people that are interested in knitting or bike riding or hiking, okay? You're going to get in front of new people. Does it mean they have to be your best friends? No. But it's just about sending the signal out that you're looking, that you're available, okay? But if it feels flat and you don't feel like looking at all, don't, okay? It comes in when you least expect it. Have you heard that? Don't look. That is also very much the case. So it depends if you get a nudging from energy to get up and out of the house, or is it best to just hang back and not look, not participate? And that all comes from you. You are the only one that can answer that. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting individuals out there looking in online dating and so on and so forth. When I was dating my soulmate partner, it wasn't like I mean, obviously I'm a giving type of person. So I would help out where I could, but I didn't feel like I had to help him. Okay. It's really about just enjoying the journey and enjoying life alongside of them, and enjoying their energy, their frequency, and that camaraderie, that similarity, that recognition, even though we may not remember because we have amnesia when coming into this. But can you imagine if you did remember, you would it would all flood back to you how you know this soul. And that would be too much while incarnating on Earth. Okay? That's why we don't remember. Okay. So I'm going to see if there's any last words of guidance pertaining to this topic. My guardian angel saying that each and every single one of us will know in the moment who is right or who is best for us. Simply quiet the mind and feel within. Some of us are with individuals for a lot of the wrong reasons. And these relationships are not necessarily healthy or good for us or the rest of the family. She would like those individuals who know this to please go within and consult their inner self, their soul, their higher self, for the answers and the right path to take in the future. For we are not always meant to be tied to another for lengthy periods of time. And she just wants to remind us that in this lifetime, it's actually quite fleeting. We may see it as dragging on for longer, but in the truth of the broader perspective of your soul, this is a very fleeting experience. So it's very important to not essentially waste your energy and your experience being with those who do not understand you, appreciate you, or treat you well. And she says to go forth or go off on your own for a while, assess and reassess, and choose someone better. Okay, so choose something different when the time comes. And the assess and reassess within is so that you don't continuously make the same decisions and choices over and over again that are not best for you or in alignment with your highest and best good. So don't keep repeating the same pattern of behavior in relationships. Okay.